Greetings, and welcome to Babylon with Vampa. If you've joined us before, you'll notice that we did some furniture rearranging to make it a little more cozy down here in our warm 8th level of hell, the level of spendthrifts and hoarders, because we love a good deal and we love to collect the things that we don't need but that we want. If you've never joined us before, well then welcome. Babylon with Vampa is a show where we talk to all sorts of different artists, artistic and creative people from the Detroit area, and they talk to me about their crafts and their passions. With me, as always, is my co-host, Dad McMahon. Dad, this doesn't look like you.
That's because I'm not Dead McMahon. I'm his identical cousin, Egregious Philbin. And I'm so excited to be here, Vampa. You look gorgeous. The set looks fantastic, and we got an amazing guest tonight, David Vileo, filmmaker. So what do you say we get started? I can't stand the wait anymore, Vampster. Let's go!
Wow, Egregious, I love the enthusiasm. Well, come on out, David. Hi, thanks for joining us for the second time.
Yes, I am back.
This is the 21st episode of Babylon with Vampa, and Mr. Vileo was our first guest back almost over 2 years ago on our first episode.
So this is a very special episode.
It is our first Where Are They Now update episode. The Gremlins and Goblins on the 6th level of hell were just asking about you nonstop. Every time I've had a guest, they said, "Where's David?" And I tried to explain to them, I have a different guest every time. And they couldn't get over you. They were very obsessed. So,
update on where I'm at now. I am here right now.
Yes, and the Gremlins are really happy about that. So, I always tell them, I guess, I hope you can get out okay, get back up to the top level. So, bring us up to speed. The last time you were here,
Oh boy.
you were working on boxes, or the next, what is the subtitle?
The Next Life of Brian.
The Next Life of Brian. So update us on that. What's?
Well, I finally finished the film.
Congratulations.
That was 2 years ago. I wanted to rewatch the first episode, but I didn't get a chance to watch all of it. So I don't exactly remember where I was at in production.
Yeah.
At that point, I just remember my hair's a lot shorter.
Yes, I was going to say your hair was definitely shorter.
So yeah, the movie is finished now.
Mm-hmm.
People have seen it.
Yeah.
Mostly just friends and family, so I still don't really know if it's any good.
I like it. There was a screening of boxes, like 2 weeks ago now?
It was on August 30th.
Okay, yeah, a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
At Parts and Labor and Downriver.
Nice little dive bar. We shot a scene there.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, the scene where Brian drops Brian off to get his check at the bar.
Oh, that's
that
bar.
Yeah.
Wow, that was like my favorite scene.
Yeah,
I loved that scene a lot.
That was actually the scene. That was like the first scene, like the genesis of the entire movie. Was that scene? It's like based off of me and my brother. My mom used to work at the Downriver bar, and we would have to like pick her up or like drive her around or whatever. And that's just what it's like to do that.
Yeah, just the weird people standing out in front or in back. Yeah,
and they're just like awkward chit chat that you like don't really want to engage with.
Right. That was a good scene to start off with because I'm assuming it probably set the tone for the rest of the vibe of how the movie was gonna go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I really could have predicted how the movie was gonna go.
Yeah.
I definitely, if I would have predicted, I would have gone a lot smoother than I thought.
Well.
But things happen. And I'm very proud of the movie that came to be.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it, which I'm glad to say.
Yeah.
But it really like started out from a writing standpoint. It came about as like kind of several short stories. There was like, I had written 2 like separate haunted house stories, and then I wrote like a comedy bit about this like mafia henchman who like loses a body that he's trying to dispose of, and then I just kind of like, well, I want to make another feature, so let me try and build a framework out of this, and eventually came to boxes.
Yeah. I think that the way that it's set up makes the pacing like so good. There's no saggy moments. There's no moment where you're like, this is going on too long, or man, he made this 90-minute movie. It could have been 20. That there's not that vibe with the boxes at all.
I appreciate that. That was definitely one thing I was really trying to avoid, because
Yeah.
back when, do you remember the film festival that I used to help run?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I feel like I got a lot of knowledge from like indie films just from doing that, because in like our first year we had something like over 500 submissions, and we had to sit and watch every single one of them, and then like the next year was like closer to 900 submissions.
Wow.
And again, sad, we would just like sit in shifts
Mm-hmm.
and watch these like indie movie after indie movie, and like after a certain point you really start to notice like patterns and just things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And like, by year 2 we got to a certain point where we would be, you would know 5 minutes in what kind of movie you're in for.
Wow.
And so like now that I'm deciding I'm gonna get behind the camera again, I'm like, okay, I have all of this stuff. I have like just this like crazy amount of movies that I've just watched. Now I can kind of apply that to what not to do.
Yeah.
Like things to avoid, to make my audience like forget that they're watching a movie that was filmed on an iPhone. Out of like spare money from my day job over the course of 5 years.
So you got the lesson of what not to do just by the cliches of
just by seeing what other people were doing.
So the parts and labor screening, first of all, the name parts and labor is very triggering of my anxiety, because that is, parts and labor, $1,000 or whatever, your car's fucked.
Except for this parts and labor is like cool. You normally have a good time when you go there.
Yeah. I feel like kind of just seeing the title makes me feel like I have to have a drink, so I'm sure that works in their benefit.
Yeah.
But you had a packed house.
Totally packed.
Got
everyone. A picture of it we can put here. I'll send you.
Yeah, and
totally packed.
Great reactions. I was sitting up in the front, not in the very.
I'm glad that you were sitting where you were sitting, because I feel like you probably got the best like view of the movie.
Yes.
Like, I felt bad because I was sitting all the way in the back. Like I was right next to the soundboard. Apologies to everybody that came and all of that stuff. I don't know my ass from my elbow when it comes to a soundboard. Luckily, a friend came and knew soundboards and fixed us up right quick, right after the intermission. But either way, you had a great vantage point, I think. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
I did.
Your scene got a big laugh.
It did. I know. Vampa's cousin Pinky is in the film. So if that's something that interests you, there's another little tidbit for boxes. And I got pretty happy to hear the laughter.
Yeah, that was something that whole segment, the whole Brian the Henchman part, I was like, this is really like my first crack at doing something just straight comedy. And so I was like really nervous to see what kind of reaction that was going to get. I was like, are people just going to be like dead silent throughout this entire segment? Like, is this just like incoherent nonsense? But no, it got like, I thought that the laugh would come when the pie hits the face, but then the laugh came when they saw you as the clown, which is like, okay, all right, great.
Yeah, and cool. I just on a fluke, I wore those pink gloves. Yeah. And it worked out really well, because you kind of get a little bit of like what kind of person is driving the car. They're wearing,
No, I can't remember exactly about the sound on the day, but could you hear the music that was playing on the radio?
Yes.
Okay, that was our friend Death Cat, his song Scatacat. It's used twice in the movie, and it's just like the perfect kind of like goof. It just adds like this levity to the movie. It
worked really well. So you finished the film. You had a screening. How does it feel to like have that out of your life? Because David first told me about this project during the lockdown in 2020. So it has been almost 5 years that you've been from concept to screening.
Yeah.
How does it feel to like?
It's really strange.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't know. I've still got like little odds and ends to tie up. As far, like, we just recorded our commentary for the Blu-ray, so there's like a full cast and me doing, just talking on the commentary, and then I'm putting together like a behind the scenes reel, and where I'm also working on like a VHS release, so I'm like working on like re-cropping the movie to be proper aspect ratio.
Yeah.
So there's still like little bits and pieces of work that I'm doing, and I do feel like I'm kind of like clinging onto them desperately, because it's like as soon as Boxes is gone, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
I know, I can relate to that.
Boxes has been like this. It's been this part of my life for such a long time. For 5 years, it's been in like just at least for 4 of those years, it's something like if I'm bored, I can like film something with Boxes. Like part of it was like I cast Dave Coligio as the lead of the movie, and him and I have a very like similar build. So like every time it's in the movie and you see like he's picking something up, those are my hands, because that's like that's what I would do in my free time, is I film shit for Boxes.
Yeah.
And now that's done.
You're running out of
I'm
Boxes
now
chores,
I'm done. I'm down to like little like kind of like busy work.
Yeah.
And it's daunting, but there are things on the horizon. There are things that are coming up that I'm excited about, that are kind of doing a decent job of filling the void.
Well, thinking back on when you were making Boxes, writing it, as I know from the moment when you wrote it to the finished product, excuse me, there have been a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But can you tell us about what some of the inspirations were for both for the story and for like the visual look and the like, I would say narrative format?
Well, I mean, the narrative format, I feel like I am almost like afraid it's too obviously like Mulholland Drive a little bit. But I also like this is like it's like if you stuck 50 movies into a blender and got them out. Like I feel like the two biggest influences that are apparent on screen are probably like Repo Man and Mulholland Drive. But it's also like there's Monty Python, because like the most direct reference in the movie is a Monty Python reference.
Right.
There's shades of other David Lynchian elements in there, and the opening of the movie I straight up ripped off from Alex Garland's Annihilation. Natalie Portman switch for Wyatt. So yeah, it's just there's a million things. I actually have a list on Letterboxd. If anybody follows me on Letterboxd, I have a movies that inspired Boxes list. Most importantly, Pootie Tang.
Yeah.
Great film, directed by Louis C.K.
Yes, not a great guy, but
great film.
Funny. So would you say that, like, while you're shooting, are you thinking about any other like filmmakers as like an imaginary like mentor or anything like that? Are you like thinking like, what would David Lynch do here?
Well, I try to stay. I feel like that's like the too easy thing for me to do, because like I feel like it's just like, well, obviously I'm inspired by David Lynch. Like that's just like that's so ingrained in my DNA as like a filmmaker.
Yes.
So when I am like in the process of working, I'm really like thinking about, like, I'm trying to think of more like practical hands-on. Like, not to say that David Lynch isn't what's the right word? I'm thinking of people like Michael Mann or like John Carpenter, people who are like very nuts and bolts. Like, we're just gonna get the action, we're gonna get the shots, we are here to do a job, and like that kind of thing. And I don't know, I find that having that mentality, but also going forward with the sort of avant-garde aesthetic, it works. It's been a balance I've been able to strike on set.
So do you have any more screenings scheduled coming up on the horizon?
Nothing officially scheduled right now. I'm working on getting at least 2 or 3 more lined up. I want to kind of coincide the next one with the release of the Blu-ray,
Cool.
so that way when the movie finishes, people can buy it.
Well, that was going to be my next question, and any home releases.
Yeah, that's currently being worked on right now. Like I said, we just recorded the commentary. I'm in the middle of editing the behind the scenes featurette thing. So a couple of small special features. Friend Sean Collins over at Nemesis Video is making our Blu-ray again. I designed the cover, and
Cover's really cool.
Yeah, image here of the Blu-ray.
Yeah, and you've been busy making buttons that we have right here.
Yes.
And most of these are boxes related.
I've been making a bunch though. Just anything that really pops in my head. I just kind of like a lot of behind the scenes photos. Like there's this one I've been trying to like. Part of it is like the sizing is like, cause like sometimes like we got this the David Lynch and John Waters one. Like they're really kind of far apart, so it's like trying to get the sizing just right. So there's this one I got on my phone that I'm trying to figure out where it's Patrick Wilson on the set of The Conjuring, and like, do you remember the shot where you've seen The Conjuring, right?
No.
There's a shot where Patrick Wilson like he's like turning around and facing Vera Farmiga, and then there's like the hanging person right behind him, and then like cuts away real quick, and it's like a jump scare. No. Okay. Well, there's like a behind the scenes photo of that where Patrick Wilson's just like, and the dead body's like hanging, and she's just like, That's really funny. I want to make that onto a button.
I'm not a big supernatural, like haunted house movie person.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like that one was just such a big movie in the zeitgeist when it happened. It was like unavoidable. And I feel like an obligation to see every movie that comes out.
And see, that's the other thing about me too. When something becomes too popular and everyone has seen it, it repels me away from it.
See, at least then I gotta see it, because then I can like trash talk it or just be like, all right, yeah, fine, it's good, but like people don't really people are just jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah. I gotta see everything.
Yeah. I used to be that way, but after wasting my life watching movies I hate, I kind of been a little more, I don't want to say selective, but
now, sometimes, hey, it's been like a pretty good year for movies.
Yeah, I've actually gone to the movies a few times.
Like
to see some things.
We've had Furiosa this year.
I didn't see any of the Mad Max movies, so
you haven't seen any of the Mad Max movies?
No. Nope. I do this show and I'm a huge film buff fan, but when people ask me about movies, I'm like, nope, haven't seen it, and I just seem like I'm like a poser or something. I just watch very different things.
Sure. Mad Max movies are incredible.
Yeah.
Furiosa was awesome.
Those are ones I want to see. I don't know why I haven't. It's just like I said, I watch different things. I'm a big fan of movies like, pre 1960, so sure. I got all these other movies on my list. I mean, I'm getting caught up on like stuff from the 90s.
That's how it is though. It's like you gotta kind of like pick your decades that you're like. I'm a fan of like 70s, 80s movies, and like that's really where all my knowledge is. I guess 70s, 80s, and 90s. So like where all of my knowledge is. But like you could stump me real easy on some 50s or 60s cinema.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite. You can stump me on stuff from like the past 15 years. I don't know. Sure. I think the year that the Michael Bay and Ninja Turtles movie came out.
Yeah. He didn't direct it, but he produced it.
That the year that the Godzilla movie came out.
The 2014, the Gareth Edwards?
Yeah. That was a kind of a watershed moment for me where I was like, I don't know if I can go to movies anymore. I literally was like thinking about my mortality during that Godzilla movie, and I hated it like a lot.
Okay. No, I don't fault you for that. There's a lot. There's like, I feel like I'm a big Godzilla fan.
I am too.
Like, so I think I am pretty forgiving to Godzilla, and I there's a part of me that it's not real Godzilla.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah. I don't know. I really
you should have gone. Godzilla had a good year this year. Like last year.
I don't know, because then I saw that other Godzilla movie everyone really liked, and I didn't.
-1.
No, the one before that.
Shin Godzilla.
Yes, and I didn't like that.
I loved that one.
Yeah, everyone did. So I'm kind of don't trust anyone's opinion on Godzilla anymore.
That one was cool.
But eventually I'll watch these ones.
I think you might like. What are your thoughts on like the original, like the OG Gojira?
I love that movie.
Yeah. So I feel like you might
that
be.
movie's fantastic.
You might like Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
It's got some issues. Everybody talking about that movie is like, this is the greatest Godzilla movie ever made. And it's good. Everyone needs to settle down.
Yeah. Well, since we're off my list here, I might as well ask you, what's something recent that you watched that you would recommend?
I've seen a few things.
What's the first one that comes to your head? New, old, doesn't matter. In the theater.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, so you liked it. That was what I wanted to actually ask you.
I did.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I did.
Okay, cool. I'm excited. What did you think?
I really liked it. I was very pleasantly surprised. The second it started, I got like really emotional, and I got like
the Danny Elfman score.
Yeah.
Like the way it was just like kicking. It's like a new theme.
The
but it's like
new
the same
theme is awesome.
I've been listening to it like on my ride to work.
Yeah, I've been really wanting to listen to it myself. I want to buy the like score. I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's
they
out
don't.
Yet,
it's like it's both, because I don't know. They don't. I mean, they might have like just the score, but on Spotify it's like
the whole
both.
soundtrack together. That'd be cool. I gotta get that. I want to get that like on vinyl.
Yeah. I really liked it.
Well, Beetlejuice was, I don't know if it's the first movie I ever saw in the theater. Okay. It's definitely a very vivid, formative memory. One of the
for me as well.
Like first memory of seeing a movie in the theater.
Mm-hmm. One of my first spoken sentences was from Beetlejuice.
What was that?
You have to believe it out. Nice fucking model.
Sure, your parents were thrilled.
Oh yeah, there's like video of me doing it out there.
Oh my god! We gotta get that. Give me that clip. It's gonna.
Yeah,
we're gonna insert it right here. That has to be adorable. I went with my parents. I remember we were like went out to dinner, and they were like, "Do you want to go to the movies?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Do you want to see Beetlejuice?" And I was like, yes. And I had seen the trailer on TV a bunch of times, and I didn't even bother asking to see it, because I thought, I'm not going to be allowed to see this. This movie's obviously rated R.
How old were you?
Probably like 4 or 5.
Okay.
And
formative memory. Yeah.
My sister was a baby, and she was just sleeping, and she was, I guess, a good baby. So, and it was like a Wednesday night or whatever, so my parents just brought her in. And my mom just held her, and she just slept through the whole movie. And during the Deo scene, like, my mom, like, cracked up laughing. Like, she was, like, screaming with laughter. And my sister, my baby sister, never even woke up for some reason. She just slept through all of it. So it was probably a really formative moment for her, too.
Yeah, her loss.
Like, I think it went into her subconsciously,
Okay, it seeped in.
Yeah. So,
it was like growing up, that was like, my mom will still tell me to this day, like, oh, that's the only movie that could get you to sit still.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I mean, Tim Burton was probably like one of the first guys that I ever noticed, like, oh, this is a director. Like, movies are directed by somebody.
Yeah.
This guy made all these movies that I really like.
Yes, I think so too. He was like the first like auteur that I was aware of.
Right, yeah.
Because then right after Beetlejuice came Edward Scissorhands a couple years later, I think.
Well, so I mean, like the timeline, you got
Batman.
Pee-wee was first, which for your first movie, my God.
Yeah, I know.
And then Beetlejuice, and then Batman, and then was it Edward Scissorhands between? Yeah, it was Edward Scissorhands, and then it was Batman Returns, and then Mars Attacks.
No, Ed Wood.
Yeah, Ed Wood, then Mars Attacks. Ed Wood is the best Tim Burton movie, if you ask me, for the moment.
I think I might agree with you on that.
It's the one that like I mean I feel like that's like the pretentious like film snob answer because that's of course the one that like only movie nerds have seen.
Yeah.
But like that seriously it is the best Tim Burton movie.
It's really good.
But like yeah, so I was like following him as like
Yeah.
the director as like one of the first like guys, and like when his movies kind of started to not be good anymore, it was like really sad. I would get like frustrated when I'd be like watching trailers and it's like, oh, Tim Burton here with Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Yeah, I know. It's just like I stopped caring, to be honest.
Right, yeah. It's like, oh, Tim
point.
Burton's doing the new Dumbo.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't even
And then
see
it seemed
that.
like he was like I watched a couple episodes of Wednesday and I thought it was like decent.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then all these rumblings about Beetlejuice and like, oh, Michael Keaton is coming back under the condition that it's, everything's practical. Like you're hearing stories about like everyone's having a good time on set. Like, it seems like Tim Burton's in good spirits, and I'm like sitting here like, oh my god, is our boy back? Are we gonna get more good Tim Burton?
I was not expecting much, if anything, from Beetlejuice.
Went in with very like, I was just cautious.
Yeah.
Because what's this gonna be? Where is Tim Burton as a filmmaker?
Yeah.
What is his vision even at this point? Turns out crystal clear and hilarious still.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were some problems with the story.
Sure.
But nothing that when I'm watching it, I don't, there's enough going on to where I don't care that much.
Right.
Of
course, I feel like everyone, the consensus is we all wish like they either would have cut Monica Bellucci or actually done something with it.
Yes, yeah.
I feel that way a little bit about Willem Dafoe, but I don't know, any movie
He did a great job.
He did a great job, but his character it didn't really like amount.
It didn't. That was I think the negative about it. It was that there was so much going on, so many characters.
That it's like, how do you tie all that up?
When Astrid was talking to the boy, I was like, wow. Another thing now that and I mean that was needed, but for how everything played out, not giving spoilers, but it was very bloated in that way, and then easy to understand then why the Maitlands aren't in it, because that would have been.
There's like, all right, certain things like, all right, the Maitlands aren't in it. I kind of get it because. Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. Like, if you're dead, you don't age, and Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin have aged. I get that.
You saw the Alien movie there, that new one. What's it called? Romulus?
Yeah.
And they had that whole CGI, whatever is
yeah, that looked terrible.
It did. And then there's that other movie, and the name is escaping me right now, with Tom Hanks, where they like aged him.
Well, yeah, and there's The Irishman. There's all these movies.
They could have done it.
They could have. I'm glad that they didn't.
It would have been pretty hokey.
It seems strange to me that they're gonna like write out those two characters, but then they're going to make Jeffrey Jones such a central point to the film, to the point where they're like literally showing pictures of him so that you have to pay him for that. Yeah. It's like, oh, hold on.
I was wondering about that. Do they have to pay them, or do they just own his?
No. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe I don't know that one, but I would assume that for his likeness, he needs to get compensated.
Not necessarily. If he had a deal that might be like the way you looked in this movie.
That is possible. Anything's possible after Back to the Future too.
Oh yeah, because that's what they. Yeah. Was that Crispin Glover that they did that too? Yeah. Yeah. So how do you think Beetlejuice ranks as far as the, I guess, later day
Tim Burton?
Tim Burton.
Oh, it's the best. I mean, it's probably Tim Burton's best movie since Big Fish. That was such a long time ago.
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah. I didn't like Big Fish.
You didn't like Big Fish. I enjoyed Big Fish. I can see how somebody might not. It is like, it's really sappy.
Yeah,
it's really.
That's why I didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I think I don't know. I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it lands the ending really well. It's it's Tim Burton at least doing something sincere, you
Yeah.
know. So it's like I give it points for that. Where everything else just feels like CGI vomit, like the
I know
Alice
what
in
you mean.
Wonderland movies. Like
Mhm.
it feels like there's no heart,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
don't even know if I can't remember if I watched those or not.
I know I at least started the first one.
I might have the same. I might have done the same.
I was like almost like I was like watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as a kid, going like, why don't I like this?
Yeah, I saw that one in the theater, not expecting much, and I was correct.
Yeah.
And not expecting
shame.
much. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the guy that made Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood and Batman Returns.
I think that Beetlejuice was probably his best movie since Mars Attacks. I'm gonna go back
Wow.
even further. Yeah.
That's a bold one. Well,
Yeah.
I guess that was like the end of his great run.
Yeah.
So that's because like
And-
what right after Mars Attacks was Sleepy Hollow,
That sounds right.
and
Yeah.
that's like where the foundation started to get shaky.
I thought Sleepy Hollow was okay.
Right. Yeah.
I was like a little. Actually, I was thinking, looking back, I saw that at the theater as well. Very excited to see that, as you know, that Tim Burton had a great run at that point, and I was thought it was so okay that I was very underwhelmed.
Yeah, and then you follow that with the 1-2 punch of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I didn't. I
And then
that.
suddenly Tim Burton is not Tim Burton anymore.
No,
It's
now
kinda
he's.
sad. And then he rushes to be Tim Burton again because like right after that is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then
Somewhere
Corpse
in there
Bride.
was Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like, but I'm not a real musical person, so.
I thought
like
Sweeney
that.
Todd was okay.
Yeah. So I thought the songs were so just.
I was really into Sweeney Todd when I was a theater kid in high
Mhm.
school, and that was like when that came out for
Mhm.
me, and so like Sweeney Todd was like the only musical that I liked, but
Mhm.
I liked the stage version,
Mhm.
which was what I was like expecting when I saw the movie, which is not what the movie is.
Of course, yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting film in the oeuvre of Burton.
Yeah.
But I'm
So-
glad that Beetlejuice seems to have gotten him back on track. And I guess he's working on Attack of the 50-Foot Woman,
Oh wow.
which, hey, I'm
Starring
excited.
Monica Bellucci.
Probably.
Yeah. I saw a meme on the internet that said, this is funny because I didn't say it in these exact words, but I said this like after we watched Beetlejuice, and it's the meme said, "Stitched up women are to Tim Burton as feet are to Quentin Tarantino."
Yeah.
And I was like, that's
Tim Burton,
That's true.
he likes to put his romantic partners in movies.
As stitched up ladies.
Because Lisa Marie is in Mars Attacks for like one scene.
Yeah, she's in. Well,
And
I
then Helena
think.
Bonham Carter and their saga together.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that's another, I think, negative about Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is kind of looking at that and going, all right, he had to squeeze in his woman somewhere, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, did you have to though? You know, could you just like let it be? Like it's cool, but like take that idea and put it in the next movie.
It was it was a really cool idea. Her character was really cool looking. That scene with the Bee Gees song was
That was pretty
awesome.
cool.
So
All
I
the
can't.
needle drops were really good.
I know. So I can't hate it, you know.
Right,
can't,
yeah. Because I had a great time watching it.
I did too. I want to see it again at home to see if it if my enjoyment translates to the home viewing and not just you know being in the nice big theater with great sound and everything. I get a little easier to impress when I'm in a movie theater.
For sure, yeah.
So, you know, going back to me contemplating my mortality to Godzilla, that's a testament to how bad I thought that movie was.
Yeah.
I will now walk out. I used to.
Yeah, I haven't walked out in a really long time. I came close. We got to talk about it because I did come close to walking out of that one a couple of times.
I wanted to walk out, let me tell you, but I was with other people.
What was the first straw where you were just like, all right?
You know, I don't know exactly. I kind of took umbrage with the robot or I guess android would be the word, where he's
He
like,
prefers the term artificial human.
yeah. I took umbrage with the way that his relationship was with the main character and how it was like, oh, I just serve you. And then he gets his, like, he becomes like, I guess they fix him and then he doesn't care about serving her anymore. But then it's like, no, I have to make you dumb again. So you just serve me. And I don't know. I thought that was a little odd considering he's black and she was white. And I just thought it was a little weird.
Yeah, definitely.
There were other things. I just remember being kind of, when all the characters were together for like the first time, I realized I couldn't tell any of them apart because they did not have anything.
Yeah, no one was like distinct. You didn't have your Yaphet Kotto and Harry Dean Stanton.
No, yeah.
Which, I mean, like, all right, I know it's unfair to compare it to the original and whatever, but I mean, like, there are distinct looking actors in Hollywood.
Yeah. The characters too were just very bland. Right. Even the main character, I found myself.
Which I really like Callie Spenny.
Yeah.
She was in Civil War earlier this year, and she was very good in that.
Yeah.
She's been in a lot of Alex Garland movies, and she's always very good. Debs on Hulu was like a miniseries. She's excellent in that.
Yeah, I don't know if
so I was like, I don't know, I really didn't love her performance in Alien Romulus.
She didn't have much to work with.
Yeah,
really.
That's true. That's the thing. Because a lot of it was like, as much as she had to work with, she always said, well, don't remember, you got to strike the Ripley pose at some point.
Yes.
So you have to be within that, you have to exist within that framework.
Yeah.
So don't like, you can't be anything too far outside of that. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever.
It was better than Covenant.
You see, I disagree. I
like
just rewatched Covenant before, because I did before the movie came out. I rewatched them all, and I think Covenant is actually, like, it's not great.
Yeah.
But it's like all of the David stuff, all of the Prometheus sequel parts are really good. All of the Alien stuff is not as entertaining.
I would have to rewatch it. I remember just being bored out of my mind.
It's the thing is, it's kind of like that's Ridley Scott movies. I'm sorry, I don't like Ridley Scott as a director. I know that's gonna like lose me credibility with.
It's just your opinion.
I think that every time he's made them like Alien and Blade Runner, all of his like classics.
Yeah.
I think he got lucky because of all of the people that were also on those movies.
Yeah.
And he like knows how to compose shots decently.
Yeah.
But like I think the Gladiator is not. I don't think that's a good movie.
I haven't seen it. I saw Blade Runner. I wasn't really impressed. I don't know what
version
I saw.
Blade Runner. I think that's a really good movie.
Yeah.
But like American Gangster, like, I don't know, he's just so overindulgent. And then like his like media personality is just so like antagonistic and like it's exhausting. Like when I saw like he's always made Napoleon last year, I was like, oh god, here we go.
So any movies that you recently watched on your list from like the past like couple decades?
Like any more recent or like classic movies that have come up
from like 90s or earlier.
The movie that like the movie that I kind of discovered last year that I've been on a real kick with is Midnight Run with De Niro and Charles Grodin. Have you seen it? It's a Martin Brest film. It's the dude that made Beverly Hills Cop.
No, I haven't seen this movie. No.
It's awesome. It's De Niro's first like comedic role. Yeah. And Charles Grodin was awesome all the time. And Charles Grodin is like a criminal and De Niro is like a bounty hunter and they have to like get him cross country. It's like dark and gritty planes, trains, and automobiles. Okay. And it's awesome. Highly recommend.
I hesitated for a second because I thought Midnight Express, which I have seen, but I was like, wait, De Niro's not in that movie. Okay.
Midnight Express, super fun movie.
Yeah, really fun.
About what is that movie about? Like Turkish prisons?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I learned with a Turkish, what is it? Turkish surprise or Turkish delight?
Turkish revenge.
Turkish revenge. Turkish revenge. Yeah.
Charles Grodin, Stitch in that movie.
In Midnight Express?
In Midnight Express, yeah.
So he's I was like, what? I don't remember him. been a long time. Yeah. Midnight Run.
Awesome movie.
I'll have to
Martin
check
Brest.
that
I
one
want
out.
to. Yeah, there's a podcast that I listen to, and they did like a whole series on Martin Brest films.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of like catching up on Martin Brest films. I still have Gigli sitting on my shelf because he ended his career with Gigli.
Yeah, that's an
Almost
infamously bad movie,
Yeah,
right?
almost ended Ben Affleck's career too. But the dude has never directed another movie since then. It's a shame because Midnight Run is excellent.
Yeah, and that's from the 80s.
Yeah, 84.
Okay.
Yeah.
So shifting back now, we kind of, I guess, veered off for quite a while there talking about movies, which is okay. But let's talk about a little more about you. I'm seeing that you're wearing your Boxes shirt.
Yes, this is made by our good pal Mitch, VHS Detroit. He's getting his.
He did a great job.
He did. These are wonderful shirts, and I love them. Got the final box, kind of a spoiler, but only a spoiler if I tell you it's a spoiler.
Yeah, not everyone knows.
No,
Well, maybe by the time they'll see it, they'll forget. They don't know how everything fits in. It's I would say it's probably pretty difficult to spoil boxes because there's so much going on.
Yeah, and there's not really.
There's
like
a lot of zigzags and.
But yeah, Mitch made these T-shirts. They are awesome. You can, if you want one, you can message me on any of my social medias that you know me on, and I'll get it sent out to you.
It is the fashion item of fall 2024.
They're pretty.
We'll all be wearing them.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be left out. Are you going to be selling your buttons too?
Yeah. You can always find me at the. Mitch does those tape swaps at Planet Ant every first Wednesday of the month. Tapes only. It's always a really good time. Come on out. It's a lot of fun. We just it's the first hour is we all just kind of pool up in the front lobby area of the venue and kind of just it's honestly like a Wall Street stock exchange, but we're trading tapes, just yelling at each other. And then we do that for about an hour, and then we watch a movie and there's bits. That's the best part is the bits.
What do you mean by bits?
Everybody's got bits. It's Comedy City over there. It's hilarious.
I keep meaning to make it out to one of these, but
it's a good time.
Something always happens and I can't.
Yeah, I always walk away with some awesome tapes. I unfortunately am stuck in a situation where my TV is too new, and I tried several hookups to get my VCR to connect, and I cannot.
You gotta go thrift a tube TV.
I live in a trailer.
Yeah.
And now I have a 75-inch TV. I don't have room for a tube TV as much as I want one.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm gonna put it.
Yeah,
so
they
do.
I feel like tube TVs take up more space than your 75-inch TV.
Yeah.
You got an awesome setup though.
It's great. I edit things on that too. I got my computer hooked up to the TV. Yeah.
So what are you working on anything now other than boxes, or you're tying up your loose ends on boxes? Are any other projects you're working on? Any other projects you want to work on? Things in the horizon? What's next for you?
I mean, at the moment, there's I'm passively working on a couple of scripts. I do have one script that I completed about 2 years ago, actually, maybe 3 years ago, called Slick Rick Loses His Vape. It's a bowling movie about a guy who is trying to beat his own high score, but then loses his vape, but his vape was stolen by a tiny elf who engages him in games to get the vape back. I'd really like to make that one. It's a short, because I think I want to do a short next. So hopefully I'd like to be able to do something like that in a year. I definitely want to help out on other people's projects, because that's that's what I did after I completed the Red Dream years and years ago. So I just kind of went and I was a boom op for somebody else, or PA on somewhere. I helped you make Murder Pool in between the time. Hopefully we can collaborate again.
Yeah, I'd love to.
In between this next one.
If I can get my motivation to write, I got all these ideas, and the hardest thing in the world for me is to sit down at a computer. Once I get there, it's very easy for me to like produce, but it's just a matter of
I've mentioned
of
this.
doing it.
I've mentioned this like train of thought like several times in the last couple of days. But like, all right, so like writing is like it's harder the more you do it to a degree, and I feel like especially when you like also are like a writer and filmmaker because you also like you know what it takes to write something. There was like a time when I feel like we were both younger and we're just like, yeah, we're gonna make a movie. It's gonna be like it's gonna have this shit in it, and we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be fucking cool. And then like you get to filming and you're like, oh wait, hold on, this is all really hard. How do I do these shots? And then so like by the next time you're writing something, you're like, okay, go nuts with your imagination, but try and keep in mind what your limitations are.
Yeah.
And it's like that happens all throughout writing, and it's like it takes in order to write really extravagantly or really well, it takes a certain level of naivete, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I try to just forget that I'm going to be shooting it.
Yeah, it's like you got to try and like play mental tricks on yourself. Because I'm like in the same situation of like, oh, how do I get back to like my like younger sensibilities of like I always love to think about like George Lucas in like is like a great example of like this because it's like he didn't know how to make Star Wars when he wrote Star Wars. He was just like, no, it's gonna be in space and people are gonna pew 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 and laser swords and it's gonna be cool. And then he made Star Wars and it like broke him as a filmmaker. Like he's like, I don't like doing this anymore. Like he didn't come back and direct again for like 25 years. And then when he did, it was like a totally radically different like here you can just film everything in front of a green screen. And it's like, and then the movies weren't the same. It's like a pure example of like that naivete created Star Wars.
Yeah, you gotta get there.
You know?
When I wrote Delusional, I originally wrote it just as a short story, and I didn't think I was like, I can't shoot something like this.
Yeah.
But the more I was thinking about it, I sat down to write the ending, and I was like, I can't do this. I keep thinking about it as a movie. I'm just gonna write the script. And at that point, I had kind of enough editing experience to know, well, I can edit this and make him look like he's the doll.
Yeah.
And it worked out pretty good, I think.
I think Delusional was awesome.
Thank you. Can I say I like it too? I don't know.
Absolutely. I think it's your best one yet.
I think it's my best one. I've actually liked to watch it. So
there you go. I can watch boxes and not feel physically ill, which is like a good thing.
Yeah. And that's how I feel about Delusional. I feel a little like tense with the other ones. What?
I don't think you should feel any kind of tension with the other ones. Murder Pool, like maybe it has a couple of technical issues wrong with it, but it's like it's got all the heart there.
It does.
Occasion of Sin is, it's like your David Lynch movie.
I was trying something real different with that.
That one really exists best in the framework of your other films, I think. Like when you do your like Vampos Visions screenings, like that's really when that one shines the brightest, I think. Because it's like it feels like that one feels like the underrated gem.
Yeah. Thank you. I submitted Occasion of Sin to a film like a feedback kind of film festival where they give you feedback, and the remark that I got from the person, I don't know who they are, where they're from, why they have any authority to be critiquing my film, but they said, it really wasn't for me. It was just a car driving around for 20 minutes.
It was more than that.
I know. So I want to like put in quotes like on the like poster, it's a car driving around for 20 minutes. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess you didn't get it.
Well, now we got to get to work on Cannabis Cannibals 2.
Yeah, so
I don't know if we should call it Cannabis Cannibals 2.
Or
we should call it Cannabis Cannibals Bloodlines or something like that.
Yeah, I like that. We've been talking about this for years about doing this, and I think I told you I think I just want to do like a complete like reboot.
Yeah, which I'm down for. I've had like a ton of ideas. We mentioned like I'll take a pass at doing like a draft of the script. I was even having ideas like today of like 2 detectives, like hot on the case.
Oh, I love it.
Do like detective scenes.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll have to set up a meeting for that. And
Yes.
talk about just
Absolutely.
specifically for that.
I got so on the horizon maybe Cannabis Cannibals 2. Slick
Yeah.
Rick loses his vape, and of course ever in development Roach Killer. My collaboration
That's
with John.
right.
Yeah, that's
how's that going on that?
I actually was just editing pages of that yesterday.
Great.
That's gonna be a big movie. That's the thing about it. There's gonna be a lot of moving parts involved, and there's gonna be like stop motion elements. We're gonna need sets. It's gonna have to be a lot of work is gonna have to go into it. So we're taking our time. I'm making sure that the script is like 100% what it needs to be, which is a daunting task, especially because like if you talk to John about Roach Killer, it's going to be an amazing movie.
Yeah.
You know, I really can't wait to see it to completion. He's got a lot of really great ideas. His energy that he brings to things is always, you know, it's great, excellent, vibrant. Do you know the Super Ambulance? Him and Brendan are in Noise group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they play shows.
Well, I don't know why I didn't know about this.
There's a video on my YouTube channel.
Gotta get them on the show, I think.
Yeah.
I'll have to reach out.
Yeah.
Or if you're watching.
Yo, I know you are.
Reach out. We'll get you on the show.
Yeah.
How long till you think the script's gonna be done?
So at the beginning of the year, I told John like I want to have this done by July. I'm currently 14 pages into it. And it's probably gonna be about 100 pages, 110-ish, just because I'm doing the David Lynch style of writing where I take like ideas and put them on a postcard and then put them on a board.
Yeah.
And I've got, I got ideas from John and Brendan and my ideas. So there's like a lot that I'm trying to like kind of filter into this thing. So hopefully by the end of this year, I'll have like a completed draft that the 3 of us are going to knock around. Ideally, I would love to shoot like a scene because we have at least the main character cast and we have like a couple of elements in place. So I'd love to be able to shoot a scene and then like market it around to like, hey, give us money for the real deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Good idea. So we got boxes coming out on Blu-ray soon, right?
Yes.
Blu-ray or DVD or both?
Both, combo pack.
Okay. We got boxes, shirts. Look out for more screenings of boxes in the area.
Yes, but if you follow me on my social media, it's just David Vileo. I think on Instagram I'm David's Ghost or Electric Cinema House for my more professional stuff.
And you can check the description of the video. I'll drop the links to his social media there. We got buttons that are for sale as well. And then on the horizon, Slick Rick loses his vape, Roach Killer, Cannabis Cannibals 2. So, David, I'd like to thank you again for joining us for a second time and updating us on everything
Always a pleasure.
In Electric Cinema House?
Yes.
In the Electric Cinema House universe. And thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.